A wonderful moment, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. We'll continue to take a look on what is happening in the nation Zimbabwe without fear, without favor. So we are taking a look onto what is happening at this point in time in Zimbabwe. And we can reference it back to what happened to Mobutu Seseseko, the DRC longest serving dictator. He removed Patrice Lumumba through a coup. The same similarities we have seen. When Mobutu Seseseko rose to power within the military structures, it was because of his close ally and friend, Patrice Lumumba. He then initiated a coup against him years later and installed a puppet president who he also removed years later and became the king of the DRC. He amassed so much wealth for himself. And this is a story which you need to take a look upon. And it's a warning to the regime right here in Zimbabwe that this is going to happen to you. The wealth you are amassing, the properties you are building, this is what is going to happen if you do not repent from your actions and if you don't treat others with dignity.
25 years ago, this was Zaire. 25 years ago, this was Zaire's dictator Mobutu Seseko's palace. Today, Africa's most expensive mansion is now home to rats, bats, snakes, and birds. A few ruined walls, and a pile of stones under the tall grass, are what remain of Mobutu's luxurious residence in his fiefdom of Gabadalite. Here, he had built an airport, where flights from Europe would land. He had 700 workers. They included 300 armed soldiers, a fleet of Mercedes, a hydroelectric plant, sports facilities, and a discotheque. Mobutu was the local economy. He was the economy. It is estimated that the magnificent structure, constructed on a large expanse of land, equivalent to a minimal game park, cost £100 million. It was nicknamed the Versailles of the jungle. And, for a reason. In the early 1970s, Gabadalite was a remote village of 1,500 people. They lived in mud brick huts and poverty. Gabadalite was not even marked on maps. But Mobutu, with power and hubris, hacked a modern town out of the tropical rainforest. He gave his village modern houses, schools, hospitals, municipal buildings, a 5-star hotel, a 3,200 meters runway for the supersonic Concorde. He had 3 palaces. Gabadalite was the symbol of power. Like the Belgian King Leopold II, who had turned Congo at his personal fiefdom, killing and enslaving the population to enrich himself with ivory and rubber, Mobutu followed the same route. He had been helped by the CIA to get rid of Independence Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba. In 1963, he was invited by President John F. Kennedy to the White House. Here, he was effectively recruited to the capitalist side of the Cold War. With the US backing, Mobutu was untouchable. 2 years later, he declared himself head of state, renamed his country Zaire, and renamed himself Mobutu Seseseko Kokong Bendu wa Zabanga, meaning, the all-powerful warrior who, because of endurance and an inflexible will to win, will go from conquest to conquest, leaving fire in his wake. He then adopted his infamous leopard skin hat. Ruling a country rich in minerals, Mobutu amassed an estimated fortune of $5 billion and lavish properties around the world. He set a bad example as Africa's greatest kleptocrat, thus inspiring many other dictators. Gabadalite was the centerpiece. It was designed by Tunisian-born French architect Olivier Clement Kakoub and Senegal's Pierre Goudiaby Atepa. His private palace, 7 miles outside town in Kawel, brimmed with paintings, sculptures, stained glass, ersatz Louis XIV furniture, marble from Carrara in Italy, and 2 swimming pools. There were loudspeakers which played his beloved Gregorian chants or classical music. Here, Mobutu hosted countless gaudy nights with Taittinger champagne, salmon and other food served on moving conveyor belts by Congolese and European chefs. Those who visited Gabadalite included Pope John Paul II, the King of Belgium, French President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, UN Secretary-General Boutros Ghali, Central African Republic self-declared Emperor Jean-Bédel Bokassa, and American televangelist Pat Robertson. Then, the Berlin Wall came down. And Cold War ended. Mobutu was now exposed. As resistance started from the east led by Laurent Kabila, Mobutu, suffering from prostate cancer, fled the country. He died in Morocco shortly after, aged 66. In a tit-for-tat, his homes were invaded by looters and stripped bare by soldiers who smashed furniture, tore down silk wallpaper and stole everything down to the last bauble in an orgy of pillaging. Buildings like this were halted mid-construction. Nobody seems to know what Mobutu was building. Today, the giant circular bay at his palace that once held water is dry, cracked and sprouting weeds. Within one palace, a brown and gold gateway still stands on the edge of the grand estate opposite a cluster of small homes. Inside, only 2 of the forlorn big cats are still in position. The entire roof of the palace is gone. Only a skeleton of red steel girders remains, punctuated by tall trees, mattress foam, smashed marble, and slivers of glass crunch underfoot. The compound that was Congo's center of power and opulence is back to the jungle. Gabotalite Airport that enabled him to charter Concorde, the fastest passenger plane in the world, for extravagant trips to Europe is no more. Only small planes land in the vast runway. The world of Mobutu seems to have ended the way it began. A lesson to thieves. Don't forget to subscribe to History Works TV channel. Share and comment.
This is what happened when Mobutu Seseseko was in power. He was in power for almost 32 years. And he amassed over 8 billion for himself and his family. He built mansions and mansions. He had a plot of land which was bigger than a village, where he placed several items and several things in that place for himself and his family. 2 swimming pools, very big swimming pools, which were like small dams, were there at that palace. But where is that property right now? Those are the pictures which you have seen right on the screen. The pictures of Mobutu Seseseko's houses in home. The runway which he used to charter a private jet from his home to anywhere in the world is no longer functional. This is what happens when a dictator falls. So you can do whatever you have been doing at this point in time. You are a dictator, you are calling yourself 2013 people, this and that, and the people are suffering, people are wallowing in poverty. And you think that you will remain there forever. You are mistaken. You are not going to remain there forever because your own comrades will take you down. A revolution shall happen which you will never be able to stop. Mobutu Seseseko is one of the examples. Idi Amin is another example. We also how he fell from grace to humiliation. We also know how he believed that he was Mr. Mastermind of everything, but his end was disastrous. This is a lesson to the Mutapa king that if he continues with this 2030 thing, his end is going to be a disaster. If he continues persecuting other political opponents, his end is going to be a disaster. He has destroyed the official opposition in Zimbabwe deliberately, because he wants to remain in power. He doesn't want anybody to challenge him. He wants to create a one-party state like what Mobutu did. They do not learn from history. They simply do things for the sake of doing them. But history repeats itself most frequently when you do not take, when you don't pay attention, or you don't exercise caution or restraint. We have seen tyrannical leadership right here in Zimbabwe, the arrest of opposition people, the arrest of innocent people, the arrest of politicians is happening at an alarming rate. The major question is, why are you doing it to your own fellow men? Why are you doing it to your own fellow countrymen? Do you think you remain there forever and ever? Do you think that you are powerful more than anyone else? I talked about the disappearance of Itai Dzamara. Are we not having people right now rising, calling that you step down? Are we not having people right now speaking about the ill treatment of others we are doing? Did we not agree that Mugabe had failed at a certain point in time, including yourselves? Vakabvisa Mugabe, you agreed with Itai Dzamara kuti Mugabe atadza kutungamirira nyika. But what happened to Dzamara? Where is Itai Dzamara right now? It's because you knew that a revolution was coming and you placed a stumbling block to the revolution. But don't think that you have stopped the revolution, because you simply slowed down the revolution, but it's still continuing. It's still ongoing. You have tried to create divisions, sow divisions. We have seen so many narratives, but you knew what was happening. Change will come to the nation of Zimbabwe, whether you like it or not, whether you are powerful or whatever. What happened to Mobutu Seseseko will happen to you. What happened to Idi Amini will happen to you. Your own comrades, you think that they are powerful. One day vachakutiza ugosara uri pamhene uri wega, because they will not die. Vachifira iweyo. At a certain point in time, we have to agree that we have suffered as the people of Zimbabwe. The people of Zimbabwe have suffered, and enough is enough. We need change, which is going to bring transformation into the nation. We need to have a competitive politics where ideas are always at the top. You are bringing charlatans to parliament who are bringing nothing to that August House. You are bringing people who don't even know the reason why they're in parliament. They think that they've gotten a job where they have to make money. This is the reason why everywhere is now becoming a share bin, a money-making place. Every constituency, they are making it a point to maximize on making money for themselves. And it's wrong. So continue to watch and see. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. Zbusiso, thank you. Mbire, thank you.